Aaron lived in a small town surrounded by tall trees, open fields, and quiet roads. People in the town liked simple days. They enjoyed early mornings, warm food, and friendly conversations. Aaron also enjoyed these things, but he had always felt that there was something different waiting for him somewhere far away. He could not explain the feeling. It stayed quiet inside his heart, like a soft whisper. Aaron worked at a small repair shop near the edge of town. He fixed old radios, lamps, and any little machines that people brought to him. He liked to work with his hands. It gave him peace. He liked the feeling of turning broken parts into something useful again. He often stayed in the shop after sunset, listening to the hum of the tools and watching the last light fade behind the hills. Behind the repair shop stood a line of tall trees that led into a forest. The forest was not very large, but it was easy to get lost if someone did not know the paths. Aaron knew the paths well. As a child, he had spent many days there. He liked the smell of the trees and the soft sound of the wind brushing through the leaves. As an adult, he still went there whenever he needed space to think. One evening, after closing the shop, Aaron walked toward the forest path. The sky had a pale orange color fading into deep blue. The air felt cooler than usual. As he stepped between the trees, he heard a strange hum. It was not loud, but it was steady, like a soft tone coming from somewhere deep inside the forest. Aaron paused. He looked around, wondering if it was a machine or an animal. The sound did not feel natural. It felt almost like a signal calling him. He took a few more steps. The hum grew louder. Aaron felt a gentle pull in his chest, the same old feeling that something different was waiting for him. He followed the sound until he reached a small clearing he had never noticed before. The trees formed a circle, and the branches curved toward the center, as if they were reaching for something. In the middle of the clearing, soft white glow was rising from the ground. Aaron felt his breath catch. He watched closely, and the glow slowly grew brighter. Then, as the light settled, Aaron saw a tall figure standing inside it. The figure was shaped like a woman, but not like any person he had ever seen. She had smooth, shimmering armor that reflected light like flowing water. The armor moved in gentle waves of color that shifted with her breathing. Aaron stayed where he was. He did not step forward. He did not step back. The sight was too beautiful and too strange to run from, but also too unknown to approach easily. The alien woman raised her head. Her eyes were large and bright with a calm silver glow. Her posture carried no threat. She did not lift her hands or make any sudden move. She simply looked at Aaron with steady curiosity. The hum in the air softened. The clearing became quiet. Aaron felt an unexpected peace settle over him. He had never seen anything like her, yet he did not feel fear. Instead, he felt that same quiet whisper in his heart grow stronger. It told him that this moment was important. It told him that she was not a stranger. The alien woman took one slow step toward him. Her movement was smooth and natural, not mechanical. She placed one hand on her chest, just above a part of her armor that glowed gently. Her hand rested there with a gesture that felt like greeting. Aaron understood that she was trying to communicate. Even without words, Aaron lifted his hand slightly, unsure of what gesture to return. He placed his hand on his own chest, copying her. The woman's eyes brightened a little. Her fingers pressed softly on her armor as if she appreciated his attempt to understand her. She reached to a small panel near her shoulder. The armor shifted and opened like petals unfolding. A quiet click filled the air. Aaron watched as a soft light traced the lines of the armor. The panel slid aside to reveal a hidden inner layer. The layer was smooth and pale, almost like glass, and on it, carved with great care, was a single name. It was Aaron's name. Aaron froze. His breath stopped for a moment. He had never seen this woman. He had never met anyone from another world. Yet his name was carved inside her armor with marks that looked years old, maybe longer. The letters were shaped with great care and patience. They were not scratched by force. They were carved with intention and respect. Aaron stepped closer without thinking. His eyes studied the carving. He reached out, but before he touched the armor, he stopped his hand. He did not want to disrespect something that seemed so important to her. The alien woman noticed his hesitation. She looked at him with gentle understanding. She did not hide the carving. She did not close the armor. She let him see it as if she wanted him to know that it was meant for him. Aaron felt a wave of questions rise inside him. He wanted to ask how she knew his name. He wanted to ask why she carved it. He wanted to ask where she came from and why she had appeared in this forest. But he could not form the words. His voice remained locked behind his confusion. The alien woman slowly closed the armor again. The panel returned to its place as if it had never opened. She stepped back and placed one hand near her temple. A small device on her wrist lit up with a faint glow. Aaron wondered if she was preparing to speak, but no sound came. Instead, she raised her other hand and pointed gently toward the sky. Aaron followed her gesture. The sky was darkening. Stars began to appear one by one. The alien woman seemed to watch the stars for a moment as if checking something. Then she lowered her hand and looked at Aaron again. She gave a slow, respectful nod. It was a nod that did not feel random. It felt like a promise that she would return then, without warning. The glow around her intensified. It rose from the ground and flowed upward, surrounding her like a soft column of light. The light expanded until Aaron could barely see her shape. When the glow faded, she was gone. The clearing was empty. The hum in the air disappeared as if it had never been there. Aaron stood alone under the darkening sky. His heart pounded, not with fear, but with amazement. His name had been carved under her armor long before he had ever seen her. It made no sense, yet it felt deeply connected to something forgotten inside him. He walked back through the forest path in a daze. The night air felt different on his skin. The world felt larger and quieter. When he reached the road near his shop, he turned to look back at the trees. He wondered if she would come again. He wondered if she had been here before, watching from a distance. He wondered if the carving had a story he could not yet understand at home. Aaron sat on his small porch, staring at the stars. He searched the sky for any sign of a glow or a moving shape. He felt something warm in his chest, a memory he could not fully reach. He tried to think back to his childhood. He tried to remember if something strange or important had happened that he had forgotten, but his thoughts came up empty. He only felt a quiet echo inside, like a memory hidden behind a curtain. He stayed awake longer than usual. He felt that sleep might make him lose the strange magic of the moment. He wanted to hold on to the feeling of her presence, the glow, the carved name, the silent nod. It all felt unreal, but it also felt right. As the night grew deeper, Aaron made a quiet promise to himself. He would return to the clearing the next day. He would search for any sign of her. He wanted answers, but more than that, he wanted to understand why his name was carved under her armor with such care. He wanted to know how their lives were connected. For the first time in many years, Aaron felt that the quiet whisper inside him had turned into a call. He did not know where it would lead, but he felt ready to follow it. The next morning, Aaron woke earlier than usual. Sunlight had barely touched the sky, yet he felt alert, almost restless. His mind kept circling around the memory of the alien woman, her glowing armor, and the hidden panel with his name carved on the inside. He tried to push the memory aside and move through his normal routine. But his thoughts always returned to her and the mysterious connection she seemed to share with him. Aaron stepped outside and looked toward the forest. A very light mist floated between the trees. It made the forest look quieter and softer than usual. Aaron locked his shop even though it was too early to open it. He knew that he would not be able to focus on repair work until he understood what he had. Seen the previous evening, he walked toward the forest path with firm steps. The cool morning air brushed against his face. As he entered the trees, the familiar scent of damp leaves and soil greeted him. He followed the path he had taken the night before, trying to spot the clearing. It felt strange to think that something so unusual had happened in a place he had walked through many times before. As he walked deeper into the forest, he listened closely for the hum he had heard before. There was no sound this time, only the wind moving through the branches. Still, he kept going. When he reached the clearing, he paused. Everything looked normal. There was no glow in the air, no sign that a visitor from another world had stood there. Yet Aaron felt a quiet pulse in the atmosphere, as if some memory of her presence still floated in the space. He stepped into the center of the clearing. He turned slowly, studying the trees, the grass, and the ground. He wondered if the glow from last night had left any mark. He knelt and ran his hand across the soil. It felt cool and soft, the same as always. Nothing looked unusual. Aaron stood up and took a deep breath. He realized that he did not come here only to find her. He came because he felt something missing inside his memory. He needed answers. He looked up toward the sky, hoping she might appear again. Nothing moved above the trees. After standing there for a long moment, he heard a small sound behind him. It was not the glowing hum from last night. It was a gentle rustle of leaves. Aaron turned quickly. A faint shimmer flickered between two trees. The shimmer grew brighter, and then the alien woman stepped through it as if the air had opened a doorway for her. Aaron felt a warm mixture of relief and amazement. She looked exactly as she had before, tall and calm with armor that glowed in soft colors. Her eyes carried the same silver light, gentle and observant. She walked toward him with slow steps. Aaron did not speak. He did not trust his voice yet, simply watched her, waiting to understand why she had returned. When she reached him, she placed the same hand on her chest. Her fingers rested on the part of her armor where the hidden panel had opened the night before. Aaron remembered the carving inside. His name had sat there, as if it had belonged there for a long time. He felt a small shake inside his chest as questions rose again. The alien woman tapped the panel near her shoulder. The armor responded with a soft glow, and the hidden section opened. Once again, Aaron saw the smooth inner layer with his name carved into it. The lines of the letters were clean and steady. They looked like they had been carved with patience and care. Aaron stepped closer. The woman did not stop him. She watched him with calm trust. He studied the carving again, searching for any detail he might have missed. The letters were shaped exactly as he wrote his name. The style was simple and familiar. It was not a symbol from her world. It was his language, his lettering, his identity written in a place he could not explain. Aaron finally found his voice. It came out soft and unsteady. "Why is my name there?" The alien woman closed the armor gently. Then she tapped her wrist device. A faint glow traveled from the device to her throat. She took a slow breath. Aaron heard a soft tone come from her device. Then, surprisingly, a voice emerged. The voice was calm and warm. It did not sound completely human, but it was clear enough to understand. "You do not remember," she said. Aaron blinked in surprise. He stepped back a little, not out of fear, but shock. Her words felt gentle, yet they carried weight. He looked at her, unsure how to respond. "Remember what Aaron asked?" The alien woman tilted her head. She placed her hand near her temple. A small beam of soft light formed between her fingers. She moved her hand forward, inching toward Aaron. Her gesture asked for permission. Aaron hesitated for a moment. Then he gave a small nod. The beam of light touched Aaron's forehead. A warm sensation spread through his mind. His vision faded for a brief moment. Then an image began to form inside his thoughts. It was not a memory he had chosen to remember. It came from somewhere hidden deep inside him. He saw himself as a small boy, perhaps no more than 6 years old. The world around him was blurry at first. Slowly, details came into focus. He saw tall trees around him. He saw dark clouds forming overhead. He remembered wandering into the forest alone during a storm many years ago. His parents had told him the story of how he got lost, but he had never remembered it himself. He always assumed he had been too young to understand. In the vision, young Aaron stumbled through the forest. The storm winds pushed the trees. The sky grew darker. Little Aaron cried out for help. He had always thought this story ended when someone found him, but he had never known exactly how it happened. Then the vision shifted. A bright light appeared between the trees. A tall figure stepped forward. The alien woman from the clearing walked toward the small boy. Her armor looked newer and brighter than it did now. She knelt down and placed a warm hand on the boy's shoulder. The young Aaron stopped crying, stared at her with wide eyes. She lifted him gently and carried him toward a safe place where the forest path widened. Rain fell softly around them, but a faint shield of light protected them. She set him down in a dry spot near a large tree. Then the vision showed her opening a small panel of her armor. She took out a tool that glowed softly. With that tool, she carved the name Aaron inside her armor with careful hands. She closed the panel. She gave young Aaron a warm nod, then stepped back into the light and disappeared into the forest. The vision faded. Aaron found himself standing in the clearing again with the alien woman in front of him, felt a deep ache in his chest. The memory had been hidden for so long that it felt almost unreal. Yet now, it was clear and full of emotion. Aaron spoke softly. "You saved me when I was a child." The alien woman nodded. Her silver eyes softened. "I carved your name so I would remember to return," she said. Aaron felt his knees weaken slightly. He took a deep breath, tried to understand the meaning behind her words. He wondered why a traveler from another world had chosen to help him. He wondered why she remembered him all these years later. He asked another question. "Why'd you come back now?" The alien woman pointed again to the sky. This time she lifted her other hand and touched her wrist device. A soft circle of light appeared above them. Inside the circle, small dots of moving light arranged themselves in patterns like a map. She explained that her group traveled between distant worlds to help young travelers who were in danger of losing their way. Sometimes they guided lost children. Sometimes they helped those who felt alone. She had been assigned to a journey that brought her close to Earth many years ago. When she detected young Aaron crying in the forest, she followed the signal of distress and helped him. After carving his name under her armor, she kept it as a promise to check on him someday. It had taken years for her to return because the path between worlds was long and her group followed a schedule that was guided by many rules. Aaron listened. He felt each word settle inside him like a small weight. Knowing that someone from a distant world had remembered him for so long felt overwhelming. He struggled to speak again. "So you came back to see if I grew up safely?" The alien woman nodded slowly. Her eyes showed a quiet warmth. She looked at him as if she was proud of the person he had become. Aaron felt something shift inside him. For years he had carried a quiet emptiness he could never explain. Now he understood that something important had touched his life long ago. The emptiness had been a missing memory, a missing connection. The alien woman stepped closer. She reached out her hand, not to take him anywhere, but simply to let him know that she was there. Aaron lifted his own hand and touched hers. Her skin felt warm through the thin layer of light that covered it. They stood silently for a long moment. Aaron felt a gentle calm inside him. The alien woman finally stepped back. She tapped her wrist again. The shimmer appeared behind her, the same doorway of light she had used to enter the clearing. Before she left, she gave him the same respectful nod she had given the night before. It was a silent message that she would return again. When the time was right, then she stepped into the shimmer and vanished. Aaron stood alone in the clearing once more. But this time he did not feel lost. He felt a new part of his life had been revealed. He touched his chest where his heart beat softly, filled with a warmth he had never known before. He walked back through the forest with a steady step. He knew that his life had changed. He knew that the next time she returned, he would be ready to learn even more. The day after the second meeting, Aaron woke with a new sense of awareness. The world around him felt different, not because anything in the town had changed, but because something inside him had shifted. The memory the alien woman had shared with him remained fresh in his mind. It was no longer a distant blur hiding behind the years. It now lived in him with clear detail. He remembered the bright light in the forest, the tall figure who lifted him with gentle arms, the shield of safety that kept the storm away, and the warm presence that calmed his younger self. For years he had wondered why he always felt drawn to the forest. For years he had felt a quiet gap inside his life. Now he understood that the gap had been caused by a missing part of his past, a missing moment that shaped him in ways he never realized. The alien woman had returned that moment to him with the vision shared. Aaron sat on a small porch with a warm drink in his hands. The early sunlight touched the wooden boards under his feet. He looked at the horizon and thought about how strange it was that a memory from another world had lived inside him without his knowledge. Now that the memory was awake, it had changed how he viewed everything around him. He wondered how long she had kept his name carved under her armor. He wondered if she had visited Earth again in the years between, perhaps watching him from the distance without letting him see her. He wondered why she had chosen to keep her promise after so many years instead of letting the past stay hidden. As he sat on the porch, a neighbor passed by and waved at him. Aaron waved back, but his thoughts were far from the simple morning greetings of the town. He knew that if he tried to explain what had happened, nobody would believe him. He also knew that some things were meant to stay within the heart and not be shared carelessly. After finishing his drink, Aaron stood up and prepared to visit the forest again. Something in him felt certain that she would return soon. He did not know how or when, but he sensed that her visits were not random. They were part of a pattern, a rhythm that followed a purpose. He walked through the town, passing the bakery, the small grocery store, and the repair shop he owned. He paused in front of the shop for a moment. The tools inside were neatly arranged. The radio he had fixed yesterday sat on the counter, ready for pickup. The calm order of the shop contrasted with the strange truth he carried in his mind. But he found comfort in the balance between the familiar world and the extraordinary one. Aaron turned away from the shop and walked toward the forest. The sky was clear, the air cool and fresh. Birds sang lightly, adding a gentle rhythm to the morning. When he reached the forest path, he took a slow breath before stepping onto the trail. The forest always had a calming effect on him, but today it felt deeper, almost sacred. The trees seemed older, the leaves brighter, and the air carried a quiet energy. The memory of his childhood rescue played again in his mind, showing him a younger version of himself frightened in the storm, and the alien woman kneeling to help him. He reached the clearing and stopped at the edge. Sunlight fell through the branches in soft beams. The grass swayed lightly in the breeze. It looked peaceful and ordinary, yet Aaron felt the hidden thread of something extraordinary lingering in the air. He waited for a few moments, standing still and listening. When the forest remained silent, he walked into the clearing and sat on a large rock near the center. He spent several minutes watching the way the sunlight moved across the ground. Then he leaned back slightly and closed his eyes. The silence around him encouraged his mind to wander. He found himself thinking about the alien woman. He wondered if she had a name in her own language. He wondered if her world had forests, or if it was filled with glowing landscapes unlike anything on Earth. He wondered if she had guided other children from other worlds, the same way she had guided him. His thoughts grew deeper. For many years, Aaron had felt a quiet pull inside his heart. It was the kind of feeling that did not come from sadness or fear, but from a sense that something important was missing. After seeing the vision she gave him, he understood that the missing piece had been the memory of a connection that had once brought him comfort. The connection had stayed hidden, but the feeling of it never left him. He slowly opened his eyes again. The clearing looked the same as before, but the light seemed to shift slightly. Without warning, the shimmer appeared near the far edge of the clearing. The air rippled, and then the alien woman stepped through the shimmering veil. Aaron stood immediately, not out of fear, but from the sudden rush of emotion that filled him. She approached him with calm steps. Her armor glowed softly in the sunlight. Her silver eyes warmed at the sight of him, as if she was greeting someone she had known for many years. Aaron felt a mix of gratitude and curiosity. When she reached him, she placed her hand on her chest in her familiar gesture. Aaron returned the gesture with respect. This time, she did not open the panel of her armor. Instead, she touched her wrist device and let it glow again. Her voice came softly through the device. "You," remembered she said. Aaron nodded. "Yes, the vision helped me remember the day you saved me." The alien woman lowered her head slightly, almost as if she was relieved. She lifted her hand and drew a small shape in the air. The shape looked like a gentle light, forming a circle before fading. Aaron sensed that she was trying to say that the memory needed to be restored so he could understand the connection between them. Aaron asked quietly, "Why did the memory disappear in the first place?" The alien woman paused. She looked up at the sky for a moment as if searching for the right explanation. Her wrist device glowed again as she spoke. "Some memories fade when the mind is too young to hold them," she said. "Your world and mine are different. The moment of contact can be too strong for a young mind. Your memory kept the feeling, but lost the picture. The feeling stayed in you for many years." Aaron understood what she meant. Even though he had not remembered her face or her glowing armor, he had always felt a quiet pull inside him, sensed that something important lived just outside his reach. He took a step closer. "Why did you choose to help me back then?" The alien woman raised one hand and held it in front of him. A beam of gentle light formed a new vision. Aaron saw a large map of stars. Among them, many small lights moved, pulsing and shifting. She pointed to one light among the others. She spoke as the vision continued. "We listen for calls from young travelers who are lost. Some are from my world. Some are from others. Many are from yours. When a heart sends a call of fear, we follow it." That day, your heart called for help. Aaron felt something stir inside him. He had never known that something from so far away could hear him when he was just a frightened child. He watched the vision fade as she lowered her hand. He asked, "Do you still listen for other calls from this world?" She nodded. Her voice carried a soft tone. "Sometimes your world has many lights, many voices. We guide those we can reach." Aaron felt admiration for her and her group. He wondered how many other children had been guided by her calm presence. He wondered how many names she might have carved under her armor across different journeys. But deep inside, he felt something else. He felt a question rising, one that he had not dared to ask before. "Why did you carve my name inside your arm?" The alien woman looked at him with a steady gaze. She did not answer right away. Instead, she opened the panel of her armor again. The carved name glowed faintly. She touched the carving with a soft, careful gesture. Then she closed the armor and spoke. "Because I wanted to remember," she said. "I wanted to return to see the life you would grow into. Not all connections fade. Some stay even across worlds." Aaron felt warmth move through him. The idea that someone from another world had carried his name for so many years made his heart swell with a feeling he had never known before. It was not fear. It was not surprise. It was something quiet and deep. A sense of being seen. A sense of belonging. He took a slow breath. His voice came out soft. "Thank you for remembering me." The alien woman stepped a little closer. She looked at him with a calm expression that held kindness. She lifted her hand and gently touched his forehead, the same place where she had placed the vision before. This time there was no light. Instead, he felt a quiet warmth, like a soft reassurance. Aaron felt peace settle inside him. The ache he had carried for years faded. The hidden memory was no longer locked away. The connection between him and the alien woman felt whole again. The alien woman slowly stepped back. Her wrist device glowed. The shimmer formed again behind her. She turned toward it, but paused before entering. She looked back at Aaron one more time, her eyes warm and steady. Then she stepped through the shimmer and vanished. Aaron stood alone again. But this time he did not feel alone. The clearing no longer felt like a simple part of the forest. It felt like a doorway between two worlds. He knew she would return. He also knew that the next time she came, she would share even more. Aaron walked back through the forest path with a renewed sense of strength. He knew that his life was no longer ordinary. He knew that the story of his past was much larger than he ever imagined, and with each step, he felt the silent memory inside him settle into place, no longer hidden but ready to guide him toward whatever came next. The days following the third meeting passed slowly for Aaron. Each morning he woke feeling a quiet sense of expectation. Each evening he watched the sky, wondering if a soft silver glow would appear among the stars. He had always believed that life in his small town would remain ordinary. But now every quiet moment carried a different meaning. Aaron continued working in his repair shop. Yet even the small machines he fixed seemed to remind him of the alien woman. The small lights on the radios and the soft hum of power through wires felt familiar, like distant echoes of the glow she carried in her armor. He realized that the memory of her presence lived inside every peaceful sound he heard. On the fourth day, Aaron found himself standing outside the forest again. The sun had not yet set. A warm breeze moved gently through the leaves. The air carried the scent of pine and fresh earth. Aaron felt that she would return soon, though he had no clear reason for believing this. It was simply a feeling that settled in his heart. the same way the silent memory had rested there. He stepped between the trees and followed the path, as if guided by an unseen thread. The forest seemed brighter that day. Shafts of sunlight broke through the branches like golden ribbons. The soft crunch of leaves under his feet created a steady rhythm as he walked deeper into the woods. When he reached the clearing, he paused to take in the stillness. The place felt familiar in a way that brought comfort. It no longer felt like an ordinary part of the forest. It felt like a place where two worlds met. Aaron stood quietly, waiting, hoping, listening to the space around him. He waited for a long moment. The forest remained silent except for the distant call of a bird. Aaron sat on the large rock again and watched how the light drifted slowly across the clearing. He did not feel impatient. He was learning that her visits followed a rhythm connected to something greater than time. As the sun lowered behind the trees, the clearing grew softer in color. Then, with no sound at all, the shimmer appeared. It brightened like a curtain of gentle light opening before him. Aaron stood up quickly, his heart lifting with quiet emotion. The alien woman stepped through the shimmer. Her armor reflected the warm orange glow of the sunset. Her silver eyes shone softly as she looked at him. Aaron noticed something different in her expression. She seemed more thoughtful, as if she had come with a purpose that carried weight. She walked toward him with calm steps. Aaron greeted her with the familiar gesture, placing his hand on his chest. She returned the gesture, and then stood close enough that he could see the soft patterns of light moving across the smooth surfaces of her armor. Aaron felt a question rising inside him again. The same one he had asked before, but had not fully understood. He wanted to know the deeper reason behind her visits. He wanted to understand why she had returned after so many years and why she kept coming back now, before he could speak. The alien woman touched her wrist device. The soft glow lit up her throat area. Her calm voice emerged once more. "I have something to tell you," she said. Aaron felt his breath catch slightly. He nodded and waited. She lifted one hand and made a slow circular motion in the air. A beam of light formed another vision. This time, it was not a memory. It felt more like a story she wanted him to understand. In the vision, Aaron saw a wide space filled with stars. He saw many small shapes moving through the skies. These shapes were not ships, but soft points of light that moved and changed color. The alien woman explained that these lights represented the young travelers from many worlds who needed help. She continued, "My group travels between worlds. We are watchers and guides. We listen for the hearts that send calls of need." Aaron watched the lights flicker gently. She pointed to one bright point in the vision. "This is where I learned your call. It was small, but it reached me. I was near your world that day. I came because your heart asked for help." Aaron felt warmth spread through him. Even though the memory had been lost for many years, the truth of it filled him with quiet gratitude. She tapped the vision again. The lights shifted, forming a new pattern. She said, "When we help a young traveler, we carry a memory of them. Some guides keep simple records. Others carve symbols. I carved your name because the moment stayed with me." Aaron listened closely. He did not want to miss even a single detail. She took a slow breath before continuing. "I chose to return to your world when the path opened again. It took many seasons of my world. When the way became clear, I followed my promise." Aaron felt his heart tighten gently. He had always thought promises were small things made between close people in his own world. But now he understood that promises could reach across galaxies, carried by memory, purpose, and kindness. The alien woman closed the vision with a soft gesture. The light disappeared, leaving only the quiet clearing behind them. Aaron asked in a low voice, "Why did you feel the need to come back to me after so long?" She looked at him for a moment before speaking. "Some connections do not fade with distance. The memory of your call stayed with me. I wanted to see the life you made. I wanted to know if your heart was strong and peaceful." Aaron felt something deep inside him stir. He realized that her return was not only about checking on him, it was about understanding the journey of a life she had once touched. He asked gently, "Did you think I needed help again?" The alien woman shook her head slowly. "Not help," she said. understanding. You carried a quiet space in your heart. It came from the lost memory. I returned so you could see it again and feel whole. Aaron felt his chest grow warm with emotion. For so long, he had felt a silence inside that he could never name. Now he understood that the silence had come from a memory that had been taken away too early. When she restored the memory, the silence dissolved. She stepped closer and touched. 2 fingers to the spot on her armor where his name was carved beneath. The gesture was gentle, almost reverent. Aaron felt that she wanted him to understand that the carving was not a mark of duty. It was a symbol of care. Anne asked softly, "Do you carry many names from your journeys?" She paused before answering. "Some," she said, "but not many. Only the ones that stay with me." Her words made Aaron's heart beat slightly faster. The idea that his name was one of the few she had kept felt meaningful in a way he could not describe. She continued speaking with calm clarity. "I have seen many worlds. I have guided many young hearts. But your call was one of the strongest I have heard from this world." Aaron felt the weight of her words settle in his chest. He wondered what had made his childhood call so strong. He wondered why she had felt it across such a great distance, he asked. "What made my call different?" The alien woman did not look away. Her silver eyes held a quiet truth. She said, "Your heart carried both fear and hope together. That combination creates a pure signal. It travels far. It is rare." Aaron tried to think back to that moment in the storm. He remembered being scared, but he also remembered believing that someone would come. He had not known who or what form that help would take. He had simply believed that he was not alone. Perhaps that belief had been the hope she felt. Aaron stepped a little closer to her. He felt the distance between them shrink, not just physically, but in meaning. He said, "I am grateful that you followed my call." The alien woman regarded him for a moment. Then she lifted her hand and placed it over her heart. She looked at him with a gentle expression. "I did not follow only because it was my duty," she said. "I followed because your heart reached mine." Aaron felt the air grow thick with emotion. He lowered his head slightly, taking in the meaning behind her words. She had carried his name beneath her armor for many years because the connection between them had left a mark on her, just as it had left an invisible mark on him. She stepped back and pointed gently to the sky. A soft circle of light formed above them again. Inside the circle, he saw the pattern of stars shift slowly. She said, "I must travel again soon." The path between worlds changes. Aaron felt a soft ache rise in his chest. He had hoped she would stay longer, but he understood that her journey did not belong to one place. She carried many responsibilities, he asked quietly. "Will you return again, her?" Silver eyes warmed. She touched the place over her heart once more and said, "Yes. When the path opens again, I will come back." Aaron felt relief spread through him. She had returned once after many years. Now she promised she would return again, guided by something deeper than distance. The shimmer behind her began to open. The soft light rippled like a curtain of water. She turned toward it and took one slow step. Then she looked back at Aaron. Her gaze held a message without words. A message of trust, connection, and understanding. She stepped through the shimmer and disappeared. Aaron stood in the clearing, long after the light vanished. The forest was quiet, but the space around him felt full. The reason for her return was clear now. She came to restore his missing memory, to complete the connection that had started in his childhood, and to remind him that he was never forgotten. He walked back home with a steady heart. The sky was darkening, and the first stars began to appear. Aaron looked up, wondering which star she was traveling toward. Aaron woke the next day with a gentle stillness in his chest. The memory of the alien woman's visit remained bright in his mind. He replayed every word she had spoken, every gesture she made, and every soft glow that moved across her armor. Her promise to return filled his heart with calm strength. He stepped out of his small house and breathed in the cool morning air. The sky was clear and pale. Birds were flying across the horizon in slow patterns. For many years he had lived with a quiet emptiness inside him, but now everything around him felt more vivid. The world looked brighter, as if the forest, the sky, and even the ground under his feet carried new meaning. Aaron walked toward his repair shop. The shop, with its small wooden walls and old sign, had always been a place of routine. He opened the door and stepped inside. The familiar smell of metal, wires, and dust welcomed him. Yet even here he felt different. Every small machine on the shelves reminded him of distant worlds he had never seen. Every blinking light in the shop made him think of her silver eyes. He sat behind his workbench, fixing a small radio brought in by an older neighbor. As he worked, he kept drifting into thoughts about the clearing, the carved name, and the reason she had returned. He wondered how much time would pass before she came back again. He wondered if the path between worlds would open soon, or if many seasons would go by. During lunch, Aaron stepped outside and sat on a wooden bench near the shop. The sun warmed his face, and a soft breeze rustled the grass. He closed his eyes for a moment. He did not hear her words, but he could still feel them. Some connections do not fade with distance. The memory of his name carved beneath her armor rose in his mind, bringing a quiet smile to his lips. As the days passed, Aaron returned to his normal routine. Yet the memory of the alien woman continued, shaping everything he felt. He no longer walked through life with a sense of emptiness. Instead, he carried a sense of purpose. He understood that even the smallest moment, even a single childhood cry for help, could travel far and reach someone who cared. One evening, Aaron closed the shop early. He felt a soft pull toward the forest, the same gentle pull he felt before she appeared. He followed the familiar path, stepping over roots and stones as the forest grew darker. When he reached the clearing, he paused. The clearing looked the same as always, quiet, peaceful, surrounded by tall trees that stood like silent guardians. The air felt warm. Fireflies floated near the edges, their soft yellow lights blinking slowly like signals from distant places. Aaron walked toward the large rock and sat down. He rested his hands on his knees and looked at the sky above the trees. Stars were already shining. They looked like countless small lights scattered across a dark canvas. As he watched them, he wondered which star she had returned to. He wondered what worlds she was visiting, what lives she was guiding, what journeys she was continuing. He sat there for a long time, breathing quietly, letting the calm of the forest settle around him. The forest around him remained still, but Aaron felt no disappointment. He did not expect her to appear tonight. He knew her travels followed rhythms far older and larger than his world. He felt grateful simply to sit in the place where their worlds had met. He returned home under the soft glow of the moon. That night, he slept peacefully, carrying dreams of light and silver stars. Days turned into weeks. Aaron continued living with patience. He began to write his memories of the alien woman in a small notebook. He wrote about the storm from his childhood, about waking to see the strange light, about how she appeared with her gentle presence, and how she carved his name beneath her armor. He wrote about her promise. Every page helped him remember that his life held connections larger than anything he had ever imagined. He did not show the notebook to anyone. It felt like something meant only for him, a story that belonged to his heart and hers. One afternoon, as Aaron fixed a small power lamp in his shop, a bright spark flickered from the bulb. It reminded him of the glow from her armor. He smiled slightly. He wondered if she was thinking of him too. He stood up, feeling a strange energy in the air. The walls of the shop seemed to hum softly, though no machine was running. The small tools on the table looked brighter. Something inside Aaron stirred, without thinking too hard. He turned off the lights, locked the shop, and began walking toward the forest. The path was familiar now. He could walk it, even with his eyes closed. The air felt different that evening, warmer, almost alive. As he reached the clearing, the sky darkened quickly. Stars appeared early. The trees seemed to stand taller than before. The air carried a quiet thrum that echoed inside Aaron's chest. Then he felt it, a gentle vibration beneath his feet, soft like a distant heartbeat. He looked up, just as the shimmer appeared. This time the shimmer opened slowly, forming a tall oval of silver light. Aaron felt his chest tighten with emotion. She stepped through the light. The alien woman looked the same, yet there was something new in her presence. Her armor glowed more brightly. Her silver eyes had a deeper warmth. Her calm expression carried something that felt almost like joy. Aaron took a small step forward, his breath catching lightly. He placed a hand over his chest in the greeting gesture. She returned the gesture with clear affection, after a moment of quiet. She touched her wrist device, and her soft voice emerged again. "I have fulfilled my travels," she said. "The paths of my world shift again. They allow me to return here for a longer time." Aaron felt a slow warmth spread through him. He did not know if she meant days or weeks or months, but he knew it meant more than a brief visit. She stepped closer and held out her hand. A small sphere of light floated above her palm. It glowed with gentle colors that shifted like the surface of water under moonlight. Aaron watched it with awe. She explained, "This is a memory star. It carries the record of the connection between two hearts. I want you to have it so your memory of all that happened will stay bright." Aaron reached out carefully. The moment his fingers touched the sphere, a warm light spread through his hand. He felt images flow through his mind. He saw the storm from long ago. He saw her standing over him when he was small. He saw the glow of her armor. He saw the carved name. He saw every moment they had shared. When the light faded, the sphere dissolved softly into his palm, leaving a gentle warmth behind. Aaron looked up at her with gratitude. She had not only returned, she had brought a part of her world for him to keep. She spoke again. "Your heart shaped my path. It guided me across many worlds. I chose to return because some journeys are meant to be shared." Aaron felt a deep truth in her words. All his life he had walked alone, believing that connections faded with time. But now he understood that some connections only grew stronger even when separated by distance and years. She stepped closer once more. Her voice softened. "I will stay by this world for a long time. The path will remain open. I will visit again when the sky turns." Aaron nodded slowly. He did not need long explanations. Her presence filled him with a peace beyond words. They stood together in the clearing as the stars brightened above them. The soft glow from her armor blended with the natural light of the night sky. The forest around them seemed to breathe in harmony with the moment. After a long silence, she pointed gently toward the sky. A small pattern of stars lit up, forming a shape that looked like two circles touching at the edges. She said, "This is the sign of joined paths. When you see it in the sky, know that I am close." Aaron watched the stars until the pattern slowly faded. He felt as if the universe had reached down and placed a promise in the night sky. The alien woman turned slightly as if preparing to leave. But then she paused. She touched the spot beneath her armor once more, where his name was carved. She looked at him with a calm and sincere expression. "This name is a part of my journey," she said. "It stays with me wherever I go." Aaron felt a deep emotion rise in his chest, warm and steady. He placed his hand over his own heart. His voice was quiet as he said, "And you stay in mine." A soft glow gathered behind her as the shimmer began to open again. The silver curtain of light rippled gently. She stepped toward the shimmer and paused one last time. Her gaze was warm, filled with understanding and connection. "I will return," she said. Aaron nodded. "I will be here." She stepped through the light and disappeared. The shimmer closed, leaving the clearing quiet again. Aaron stood there, under the stars, feeling the memory star's warmth inside his hand. For the first time in his life, he felt that his journey was connected to something greater than anything he had ever imagined. He looked up at the sky, watching the stars flicker with gentle light. He did not feel sadness. He felt hope. He felt strength. He felt the lasting truth of the bond they shared.